Good day, everybody. June 5th, 2026. It's been so rainy today, and it's still raining. We're sitting at 11 degrees Celsius with a high of 16 and a low of 9. So that is what's going on. Um, of course, you all know I love to talk about relationships. And the funny thing that I keep thinking of is the movie Obsession. And I've also been looking at how different my life is and how I am choosing things different and how other things in the past don't work now. And in the past, so in the past, things did not work out. And now going forward, I'm changing because I see that those things in the past never worked out, if that makes sense. So I watched Obsession one time with did I go by myself? Oh my God, if someone went with me and they're listening to this, forgive me because I forgot. I think I saw it by myself. Anyways, and then another friend wanted to go see the movie, so I said, "Okay, we can go because it's a good movie." It's interesting because so I thought it was going to be over the top horror movie. And in TikTok, I think, I don't know if it's AI or they actually said this, but they said that they wanted to keep the movie grounded. And I was like, that makes sense. And I thought that the movie would be like rated R, over the top, but no, 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 it's rated 14A. Now, what's interesting about that is I kind of like could see why it was rated 14A. So the scare factor there wasn't there for me. The funny thing about this, though, is that a lot of people have been saying, this is how I act normally, or men were saying in regards to their girlfriends, hey, this is how you act, this is how you are. Like, they just basically saw a scary movie that enacts typical behavior by in relationships. Um, and it's so funny because there's a scene where, well, she's always actually accusing him, saying, I don't think you love me as much as I love you. And I don't think you like all these things. And it's funny though, because like, even though she was possessed, what was she aware of? And when people say, hey, I don't think you like me as much as I like you, that could be true. That could be a possibility. It's not a wrongness because I look at the truth and sometimes I'm like, wow, this person just does not like me. And I'm like, okay, and then take that however I will or you will or whatever. So it's like being willing to see people who do not like you, but also knowing when somebody actually likes you. It's really actually nice. I have someone in my life who's pretty darn cool and they are very kind to me and it's awesome. Like you can tell that this person actually likes me as opposed to a lot of people out there where it's like, oh, another thing that came up in a topic of conversation was people who, how do you say this? They basically try to demand that you do something and give service to them, whatever that may be. It could be, well, if you're dating the person and you're only giving to them, or if there's someone says, hey, we're going to hang out and you're going to do this for me. I don't know, fix my car, move my boxes, fix this, fix that, or give me a massage or give me a blowjob. I don't know, like whatever it is that this and that I've seen these examples of people doing this. And there's always a person who's giving, 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 and then the person's taking. And this is common, what was common was the person taking would then flip out and be like, oh, I can't believe you treated me this way. I would never do such a thing and I would never hurt you. Oh my God. And then they get angry, they flip out, and then they never speak to the person again. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I said to my friend the other day, I was like, how many people in the world constantly do this? And that's just the way they function. Because, yes, I've given these examples of people doing this, but I'm like, wait a second. This isn't just like a one-time thing that the person does. This is like a behavioral pattern that that person is acting out on. And it's not personal because they're constantly doing this with each and every person in their lives, which is like, I'm not sure if it's like victim, victimizer, or if it's like some sort of narcissistic trait, or if it's just take, 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 and then being like, oh, I can't believe you. I can't believe you're so terrible. Oh my God. Oh, it's just it's incredible what people will do to get what they want. And the one thing that stops these people from taking is setting a boundary and sticking up for yourself, or trying to talk it out, or trying to, well, really do anything. And it never works when you have a boundary. You're not willing to take shit. And oh my God, I've learned so many times with this. There is, oh my God, I have like so many examples of this where I would sit there and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to listen and I'm going to try and talk it out and be an adult and like work it out. No, no, no. That does not happen sometimes in these cases. People flip out and they just freak out, and then they want to have their freak out and temper tantrum. And it's a great way to end friendship or relationship or whatever ship you're sailing. But yeah, but in regards to relationships, there's always, it's funny, I've never read the book Relationships Done Different, but I did take the course. Did I read it? I may have read it, but it just doesn't, I don't know. It's so funny. I'm so resistant to relationships done different, but I've taken enough courses to be at the point where it's like, am I now doing relationship different? Even without like, I'm not necessarily taking tools and putting them into action, but what I'm doing is I'm like, I guess I am, because I'm asking questions like, okay, what else can I be or do different with this person that is so different from any other relationship that I've had? And what's going on right now is so light, because I looked at the energy and I said, what is this? And it's really beautiful, but it doesn't look the way that it should. And it could, like, some people might deem it a wrongness. And I'm looking at this being like, well, I'm going to keep choosing this because it's fun. It's awesome. Like, this is great. Like, why not? This is going well. But it's not what I think that it would be. And I'm still asking for more to show up too. I'm like, okay, so what else? What else? Who else can show up? And it's like, I guess what I'm focusing on now is like looking at, like, there are relationships in this world that I've seen where people are literally just making each other happy. And that is it. You know, there's people get a little finicky, they get a little bitchy sometimes, I get it. But these really good relationships that I see are beautiful people making each other happy, making it work in a benevolent, positive, happy, joyous way. What the fuck have I been choosing these past forever in every single fucking relationship that I'm in choosing? You know, it's funny. You gotta laugh sometimes. I gotta laugh at myself and be like, whoa, what was going on there? Because there's, now it's becoming more and more clear for the energy for me with the perception of light and heavy. And my body, like, if I was with somebody who was like, it felt like I got hit with a Mack truck, I could sense that obviously, but I wasn't listening to my body. But I was like thinking, oh, I like this person. I want to hang out with them. Oh, cool. We can chat and hang out. And then I would. But then when the person went away, I would like, while I was with them, I felt awful. And then a little bit of the aftermath, I felt a bit awful too. And then after not hanging out with them for a while, it wore off. And I felt like light and free and amazing and just light, you know. And so now I'm looking at like, so what I look at is the energy that I'm being, the thoughts that I'm thinking, the words that I'm saying, what I'm trying to create, everything like that. Oh my God, I just noticed something right here on this background. It says sorry. I'm going to change my background after today. And right here is a pineapple. Can't see my finger. Pineapple. Isn't that funny? Oh my God, that's hilarious. Sorry, and a pineapple. I've completely forgot what I was talking about. But no, like, I'm looking at the congruence of like, so I look at like what has shown up in my life, and it's like I was almost unable to believe that there are kind people in the world and realize how much hurt that there has been and how betrayed I was and how blind I was to all of the bullshit, energy, negativity, bullshit. And now it's like I've woken up, I've seen the light. No, I just got a little bit smarter and I was like, what the fuck? I don't want to put up with this shit. It became That's why I'm so grateful for the heaviest piece of shit on planet Earth for coming into my life because I'm like, oh, this is so night and day, black and white. And then, I guess, sorry for everyone out there who thinks that they themselves are a piece of shit. I'm just kidding. You're not. But if you're listening to this, you're definitely not. Um, Come on, I think I'm funny, but whatever. And it's now like looking at myself to see what kindness is and who I am and what kindness I can choose and be and that energy because I know oh my God, so many people, oh my God, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go with what I was gonna say. Fuck it. That's out the window. But and then because I know what charismatic, positive, kind, caring, happy, generative, beautiful, joyous, benevolent, kind energy is. I know what the fuck that is. And then it's looking at that and seeing if that can show up in my life. I know I made a huge list, but the coolest thing is that I've had some beautiful people show up in my life and not for long, or just gave me their time. We'd have a conversation, and by like at the end of it, when we were done the conversation, I would cry. And I was crying because these people were so kind. And now I look at my life and there's a couple people in my life who are really kind. And now there's another person in my life who is pretty fucking cool and communicates very well. And everything is pretty darn okay. And it's funny because I say okay, but it's like, oh, I don't want to say it's like fantastical, phenomenal, amazing, because what if I say that and then it like ends or goes away? But well, first of all, I don't think anything lasts forever. I think people, I think things happen. I still have people in my life that I've known since I was like in diapers. So that's pretty cool. And I still have people I've known for like 15 years in my life. So, and like even longer. So I've had these very long-term relationship, friendships and everything. So, there is that. And it's it's so cool. I'm super grateful for every single person in my life. And also, for like I said, for a while there, it was kind of dark because I was like, yes, I love my friends and family. And if there's people who've left my life, I'm grateful for that too. But it's like, I looked at this and I was like, is there a kind person out there who even if it's just having that connection, actually I have a lot of connections of people who are very, very kind. And in regards to like relationships, so when I think of relationship, I'm talking like creating a life together, seeing each other often, dating, just being in a literal relationship where it's like, oh, cool, like would this person like to create a life with me? And having attraction to me is important. So that's another thing. And likewise, so is there somebody kind enough that I'm attracted to and they're attracted to me? That is a thing because I think when you ask for something to show up and if you're like, oh, what would it take for someone to show up who likes me? And then someone shows up and it's like they freaking love you, they adore you, they treat you well. And there's like you could choose that person, but what I just don't think I would if I'm not there. I would not choose it. And so I'm lucky enough to have these people who I date show up in my life and I am attracted to them and it works out until it doesn't. And I notice that the people showing up in my life are greater and better. It's not much to ask for. Like it's not. Um, and to have like, I'm also going to touch on like, oh my goodness, mental health a bit. I mean, it's just my preference, but I would just prefer like if it's really interesting when you go on dates and people are like the first word to come out of their mouth are all of their issues. A lot of people were like, when that happens, they're like, if I were you, I would run. And it's like, and that does happen a lot. A lot of people like before you say, hey, my name is, they're like, I have, and then they list off all their problems. And it's very interesting. It's like, okay, and that's the story. And then if you choose to go with that, that's all you hear. That's exactly what you get. And I said to my one friend who has the same situation in their life, I was like, okay, so your partner is giving you what? And they're like, I'm like, headaches, stress, anxiety. What else are they giving you? You know? Is this person giving you what they proclaim their self-diagnosis? Like, is that good enough for you? Is that what you would like to have in your life? Um, for me, it's like, what would it take for someone to show up who has a good head on their shoulders, whatever the fuck that means. So like will always have my back and walk through life with me, alongside of me, and continuously creating and growing and creating and growing and like like kind of like flourishing and like creating like wealth and happiness and joy. Like it's that easy. It's funny though because yeah, it's interesting. That's what I would like to choose. um in I always reference Marcus Tullius Cicero, and he wrote a book called How to Run a Country. And I think if I can quote this correctly, where's the book? I think I have it online. I have How to Become a Friend. What is this? The Great Gatsby. I have How to Become a Friend. I thought I bought like every other book by him though, but it's on my cell phone. But anyways, so what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so his two things, what he believed in is that people, one, should have the right to freedom, and two, have the right to like a peaceful joy and happiness, and to live their lives like that. And then he got his head chopped off. So there you go. We get censored all the time now. It's like such a travesty to be happy and be free. And then instead, we lock ourselves down and put ourselves in between our limitations and go from there. But fuck that. Who wants to choose that? Let's choose something else and go forward. So, yeah, it's like, it's funny. Okay, so the movie Obsession is, it's funny because I don't want to say yes, I recommend it, and I don't want to say no, I don't recommend it. It is a movie that exists. I've seen it twice. Um, and I think it really shows a lot in relationships when, of course, she's possessed and obsessed with the guy who cast this wish upon her. So it's not actually her talking, but it's like how many people have either demons or entities, or they're making the choice to be insecure and they're fighting and screaming and yelling and controlling their partner out of lightness and expansiveness and controlling them. Like how many couples control their partners with GPS monitoring? How many couples control their partner with like texting, being on the phone with them 24 hours, 7 days a week, um, having a camera in the house? And if this is like blasphemy to you, or like, who the fuck would do that? How many people do this? I see it all the time. Now, how many people like the control and jealousy and possessiveness? And then, and is that fun? Like I said to this one person, I was like, well, you can be a little jealous, go for it. So, we play around with that. Um, but it's like also to let go of all that is beautiful too. You can be willing to perceive, know, and be all that bullshit. You can choose a little bit and have fun with it if you want to, but you can also let go of it and expand even more and create beyond that. And I don't see a lot of people doing that. I see a lot of people limited. Oh my God, I made a joke the other day. So I go out into this world and I chat with people, and I just like to strike up conversations. So what a lot of people do is they'll be like, "Oh, my boyfriend or my girlfriend," they'll be like, "Yeah, my boyfriend and I, da 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 da," and I'm like, "Holy shit!" Or they're like, "Yeah, my girlfriend, da 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 da," and it's like, okay, you got a partner, great. Or they're like, "Oh yeah," or my partner. So I was joking with my friends the other day, and I was like, you know what? When I start talking to people, or they start talking to me, I'm gonna immediately do what people have done to me and be like, yeah, so my partner, and then like fill in the blank, like I don't know. The examples are just crazy, and it's like, what happened to people being themselves, and how many people give themselves up to relationship? And when I spend all my time with someone, yeah, I give myself up. I become heavy. I become anxious. I don't enjoy anything. I become more worried. And this feedback came from one of my friends who I'd see every single day. And this person was like, you know, you look more worried and sad, and it happened after you started this relationship. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, I'm just letting you know that this is what I'm observing. So she was there for me, and we still talked every day. And she was just like, a really good friend. But it's like, like whatever happened to relationships that are different, that are space, that are happiness? And now things are changing for me, definitely, with what I'm choosing and looking, and who I'm choosing as well. It's like you almost need like a cover letter resume. Got a job, sane, can provide for yourself, happy, intelligent. Um, and this is like probably so offensive to even ask for something greater. Um, when people are so down on themselves and insecure. I would recommend not dating a super, super insecure person, because no matter how much you tell them you love them, they'll never believe it. No matter how much you try to give to them, it'll never be enough. It'll never be enough for someone who is so insecure. It's like you can't change that person. It's like they got to work on themselves. But that's just my advice. Don't listen to me. I mean, I bet a lot of people are married and just so freaking insecure. Um, Anyways, I am going to wrap this up. Um, yeah, and again, if you guys have any questions, or if you would like to see somebody on the podcast, let me know. And any questions, feel free to send them in. Oh, speaking of which, I should pick up on my newsletter again. The newsletter was pretty fun. I took a break from everything. I was like, you know what? And I took a snoozer, but it's like it's funny because it's a lot of work, but I also don't have like a lot going on within the business. It's more of like maybe an advertisement. I don't have any classes going on yet. Not facilitating anything yet. maybe looking at creating something around that. But anyways, have a good weekend, guys. Maybe I'll make a couple more podcast episodes for the weekend, or maybe I'll see you next week. All right, love you guys. Bye.